Happy Rising Star pupils. I'm your host, friend, and life coach, Mrs.Divine Awakening, and I bridge the gap between intuition and intelligence. So I've been going deep into my subconscious mind lately, right? Uncovering all these things about me, these subtle little habits that I don't even detect sometimes. And I've discovered that I have a habit of speaking to my audience that I believe is in front of me, instead of speaking to the audience that should be in front of me. And when I say should be in front of me, I mean that I must be speaking my truth at all times. I must be speaking my truth at all times. If I'm not going to speak my truth, then I may as well not speak at all. So I must be speaking my truth at all times, or I'd rather not speak. Because our words have a way of creating our reality. So if I speak to my audience, who I feel if I say it the way I know my truth, then it's going to go right over their heads. So then I'm going to come and I'm going to break it down to you guys in a way where it won't go over your heads, because I'm going to hit you at it with a different level that, in the whole retrospect of everything, it's like me making a judgment call, saying how conscious I feel you are. So I'm limiting your consciousness by not revealing to you through my words my consciousness. So the way it should be is that no matter what it is I'm discussing, I should be speaking to you from my truth. And if my consciousness leaves you behind, you have no idea how to interpret what I say, then that's up to you to do the research and understand, or attempt to understand what it is that I was saying. Or up to you to decide that is something you don't even want to begin to understand. Maybe that slipped past your consciousness, but you caught other things. So what's for you is for you, and I have to remember that. I have to remember to stop allowing myself to make the judgment call of what I feel is something that you would understand. And allow myself the privilege and the freedom, myself, allow me and my essence the privilege and the freedom to let those who are going to fall on the wayside because they do not understand my level of consciousness, don't agree with my level of consciousness, or are in some way interpreting it in their world as evil or demonic, when I know that there is nothing evil or demonic about it. Just because I don't believe in Jesus does not mean that I'm an evil and demonic person. So for those who I am not for, if they leave, then there's space, right? Then there's space for my audience to grow to those who are where I am at. And then I can further strengthen and impact my universe, or the universe, because I am speaking at the level of consciousness that is being revealed to me. So then I'm able to grow. Then the world is able to grow. Then my world is going to change, and the things around are going to change because I become aware of them. I acknowledge them, and I'm accepting the fact that I'm okay with things changing as my consciousness evolves. Okay, so when I subconsciously try to evaluate the audience in front of me and remember the audience I'm speaking to and talk in that way, I am creating different versions of myself. I am creating an ego. I am creating that part of myself. I am creating a different version of my inner essence. Well, actually, then that is creating a myself. I'm creating a lower version of my inner essence. Every time I make that judgment call as to see if what I have to say or what my truth is on something is going to go over the heads of my audience. And I decide to give it to y'all in a different kind of way. Okay? Because then that is me saying that here is me and my thoughts, and there is my audience, instead of understanding that I am a representation of the frequency of the universe. I am a representation of the frequency of the universe. So the words that I speak are going to naturally draw and attract those who are there as well. For me to speak at a lower level, and I'm saying lower level because that's what I would normally do, to break it down to someone else's understanding is for me to bring it down, bring my consciousness down to a lower level. So what I'm doing when I do that is I am recreating that world. So then it's going to be very frustrating dealing with clients at that level. It's going to be very frustrating seeing my people at that level, because I'm going to be wondering why they're still at this level. And I understand the reason why they're still at the level. Their consciousness is not growing, or their consciousness is not growing at a rate where it's making a notable impact to them, encouraging them to evolve. And that is because I chose to keep the consciousness at that level by not stretching their consciousness to understand or to want to even explore the realm that I'm seeing before me. So I'm literally creating another ego, or the separation of my essence, which is, like I said, I represent the frequency of the entire universe. So I am creating another version of my essence, which is the ego, because I am separating my truth and what I know to appear in the world, or to appear in the level of consciousness that I feel the people I'm speaking to are at. So I'm going to stop talking to y'all like y'all dumb. Put it that way. I'm going to stop talking to y'all like y'all dumb. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't get it. I'm going to start talking to y'all like this is my truth and this is what it is. And I have to be okay with not explaining myself. I have to be okay with, when I explain myself, allowing my explanation to ride its own wave. So my explanation is going to start riding its own wave, meaning I'll explain it in the best way I can at the consciousness that I'm at. And then if you're interested in what I'm saying, or if you're interested in what I'm saying, that's because it resonates with you. You might not understand why it's resonating with you, or it may trigger something within you that also would spark your curiosity. And that could be that it's true, or that can be that it goes against something that you value. But that's still up for your mind to work out. That's still up for you to get those gears grinding inside. So if you are interested in what I'm saying and it goes over the top of your head, then do your research. If you are triggered by what I am saying, then allow yourself to sit with it within and see, what is it about what I said got you all on your feelings? Because it's about exploring the feelings, right? All right. So with that being said, I no longer create separate identities from myself. I no longer create a separate identity from myself. I no longer create a separate identity from the consciousness that I am. I no longer create a separation between my essence and all of you. We are all one another, whether you understand that or not. We are all one another. So for this point on, I'm going to be coming to you when I have something to speak from my heart, and it's going to sound and look a lot different. And I'm happy about that. So with all that being said, let's begin, because that was just a little introduction. What I'm going to do here today, let me see if you can read this. All right, so it's going to be inverted on the screen, but this is my wheel. This is my wheel, and I like to use it because it represents the frequency that I'm at right now. So I have a bunch of different topics I could talk to you about, because if you look around my house, I have notes everywhere. I have notes in my mirrors. I have notes in my closet. I have notes on whiteboards. I have notebooks all around because all these thoughts of what I can say or what reveals itself to me comes out. And every time something is revealed, I yearn to express it all to everyone, but I don't because it's too much sometimes. And um, it's like the most pressing thing is the things that I feel should be said, should be shared. So I put some of them on the board, and we're going to see what it is we'll speak about today. Let's see. What's that say? Healing. Oh, we're going to talk about healing. Healing. Okay, so for healing, here are my thoughts that have been coming up for me for healing. A lot of times we hear coaches like myself, self-help people, church people in the churches, just people all over talking about the need to heal. Seek you a therapist, seek you a life coach, find some way to heal. We all need healing. I want you all to know that healing is never done. There is never a time when you have healed from everything. There could be a time when you put in a lot of work and you see dramatic changes within yourself. But healing is something that is constant as long as we're here in this plane. So how do you know that you are healing? Okay. You know that you are healing when that trauma that has come up for you, that self-discovery that you have within that's not sitting right with you, that you want to change, comes up and you do something about it. And when you do something about it, you can look back at that trigger that you had that showed you that there was something in you that was broken or needed to heal, or that feeling of not feeling whole. Some people really do not feel like their whole self. We are always our whole self. It's just something within us that is blocking us from recognizing that we are whole. We are whole already without anything else. We were born whole. Babies, they know that they're whole. We are born whole. But something in us, things start happening and then things develop within us that break us down or hold us there, where now we are no longer recognizing that we are a whole being. We feel broken. So when these parts of us inside are detected and they feel broken, or there's trauma there, or there's something coming up when you're like, okay, it's time to do some work on my inner essence. That's how you know that you have been working on yourself, is that when you look back at those moments, it no longer bothers you. Look back at those moments and realize how much you've changed. So healing requires change. Healing requires change. It is not good enough to say, yeah, I noticed that I spend a lot of time at my job and I'm not happy there anymore, and I don't have time to spend the quality time with my children like I want to because I'm always so tired. And then, I got to cook dinner and take care of the household duties. And by that time, the children are back in bed and we're starting school and work all over again. It's not enough just to pinpoint that. That is something that your subconscious mind is going to keep throwing at you because you keep doing it, and there's a lot of energy being spent there. So it's asking you, or it's showing you, because the more energy that is spent somewhere is the more feeling that's connected behind it. And if you're getting the draining feeling, the tired feeling, that's a good way of, or a good indication of knowing where your subconscious mind is spending a lot of time throwing signals at you. This is a good space for you to sit and see if this is something you like or not, or don't like, if this is something that is worth your energy being spent there or not. Okay, so once you detect that, it's not good enough just to say, oh yeah, I know that work is draining me. Or I know that I'm not happy at work, and then by the time I come home, I'm not being my best self at home because I'm not happy at work. That's not healing. Healing is not the detection. Healing is the action behind the detection. So once you detect what it is that you are desiring to change, fix, or work on, that is when your healing journey begins. You look at what it is, and you look at what it would be like if you were if this area in your life was working in the way that you desired it to be working. Meaning, maybe you just don't want to feel so tired anymore when coming home from work. Maybe that's the key. Maybe you want to get a new job. Maybe you want to get a work at a different time where you're able to have more time with your children. Maybe it's just the fact that you're fine. It's just, but when you come home, you still want that time with the children. So maybe you hire um a chef, or you decide that you're going to get a maid service or something, so you can have someone else in charge of cleaning and cooking, or that it's already done before you come home, so that time spent normally cleaning and cooking is now spent for you to interact with your family and your children. Maybe that's a solution. There are many different solutions. So your part of your healing journey is part of you going into your mind and figuring out what are the solutions to this problem that is being revealed within. And once you see the solutions, it's not enough to just say, I've figured out these could be the solutions. You must do the work. If you do not do the work, you do not heal. If you do not do the work, you do not heal. It is not just simple as once I think it, I become it. You must think and do. You must think and do. So there's a lot of people who say, oh, I've already done my healing. Healing doesn't stop. And you are naive to think that it does stop. You're naive to think that because you know what you need to heal, that is healing. You are naive to think that you're going to find a partner who is healed if you're not working on healing yourself. You're going to be naive to believe that you can find a partner who values you if you are going after a partner who doesn't value themselves. There's that word again. So we are all expressing our inner beings to a way where we allow our universe to interact with us. So if you want to heal, you must raise your frequency to that level. You must raise or lower. Maybe your healing involves you saying, I'm not going to be so nice anymore. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to let this person know how I feel every time they come to me like that. And then maybe they'll stop doing that. Okay. So healing isn't always being so positive. Healing can also be just honing in on your power and taking it back, keeping it for yourself. And that is, and me talking to you all right now is bringing to my awareness that is the point behind everything I am doing for my birthday this year. I am turning 33, the age of confirmation. Everything being revealed to me is my truth, and it is a truth that I must express, be, and act upon. I honor it. I'm honing it in. I'm letting it know I see it, and keep it coming. Okay. The things I'm doing for my 33rd birthday are to seek. I've been craving time with me and my inner essence. That's it. I'm always out here sharing my light, my essence, my inner being with everyone and everything all the time. I desire that feeling of sharing it with me. So what I am doing is I am taking my light in and I'm holding it there. I am supercharging it this year so that the voice inside of my head becomes so loud that it's going to be very hard for anything else to come inside of it. And that's important. When we talk about people who are able to lower your frequency, or when we talk about people who are in your life who you feel like should have your best interest at heart, but they low-key haters, or people who hear you say something and they know you're excited about it and they say a bunch of negative things to try to kill your excitement because they're not happy people, You protect yourself from things like that by protecting your energy. And I think that was something on here. Yeah, protecting your energy. That was one of the things on here. So I'm not going to go into it because it wasn't about that. And it's so easy to go, how all these things are interconnected. But I'm saying all this to say is that you must protect your energy in order to heal. In order to heal, once you start taking these steps of, of going within, honing your power, understanding your power, and standing in your truth, saying, this is what I detect as the problem or the issue, and here's what I'm going to do to fix it. Once you start taking those action steps to fix it, protect your energy. Any and all things that do not match that new thing you are creating for yourself, disengage from it. Don't allow it in. Once you reach that healing point with them, when you know you've made a drastic change, you know you can look back at that trigger, that initial trigger that you had, and say, that doesn't even exist anymore. Or look back at it and say, I feel so much better now about that than I did before. Then you know you're healing. But until you can get to that point, do not allow anyone or anything in that goes against what you are creating. There are so many people who do not understand healing and evolution, change, because they are okay with complaining. When you stop being okay with complaining and you start wanting to make that change, you will see a difference in your life. You will see that healing has taken place. And then you're naturally going to enjoy that feeling that you get when you realize you're healing or that you have healed from something, and your mind is going to go on an adventure of finding somewhere else for you to heal. So honor yourself, honor your mind, honor your space, honor your time, and honor the words that come out of your mouth, because you literally create your reality. Have a wonderful day, Star Peoples.